In chapter 1 we meet Jerry the giraffe. Jerry loves God and he has gone to church all of his life. He lives with his mum and dad in a nice house in the zoo and goes to a good school. Jerry has always loved life. He likes going to church and he has some very good friends. One of his friends is Zoe the zebra. One day after school, he goes to Zoe's house and they are jumping on her trampoline together. Zoe is extremely excited because she has been hearing God speak to her for the first time. She is experiencing a new way to relate to God and is feeling closer to God than ever before. In her excitement, she is telling Jerry how she received a vision she felt was from God while she was lying on her bed. In the vision, God showed her how He saw her future. He showed her her future in her mind like a video. In the vision, she was dancing on a big stage in front of a lot of people. She was dancing and performing in a big auditorium. And after she watched this vision in her mind, she heard the words, "That will be you one day." God had revealed some of His plans for Zoe, and she was excited about it. Jerry wasn't excited though. You see, Jerry had been trying to hear God's voice, but the more he tried, the more frustrated he got. It was like there was a wall stopping him hearing God, so when he heard Zoe's amazing vision, it made him feel like he was missing out. Have you ever really wanted to experience something that your friends were doing but weren't able to? It's hard, isn't it? I remember when I was in grade 6 in primary school. All my friends were going on holidays to Queensland and were going to Dreamworld and SeaWorld and all those cool Queensland worlds. They would come back and tell me how amazing it was and how much fun they had on the rides. They told me how sunny and hot it was over there and how much fun they had. But I just remember feeling discouraged and thinking, I wish I could go to Queensland. Because my friends were having so much fun in Queensland, it made me want to go too. This was how Jerry was feeling. Zoe had experienced a great vision. She had seen into her future and she liked what she saw. Jerry loved God but wanted to experience His voice in the same way Zoe had. Then on the way home, Jerry ran into his good friend Gazza the gorilla. Gazza loved sport and was walking home from soccer practice when he bumped into Jerry. Gazza had also been trying to hear from God, and the night before he too had an elaborate vision. Unlike Zoe, who had a vision about herself, Gazza had a vision about his friend Elfie the elephant. Gazza had a vision in his mind of Elfie coming to kids' church and accepting Jesus into his heart as his friend. In the vision, Elfie was overwhelmed with emotion and crying tears of joy. Gazza was excited about the vision because he cared about Elfie and wanted him to know Jesus. God was showing him how his friend would come to know him in the future. But this made Jerry feel even more discouraged and even more sad. Two of his good friends were hearing God in fantastic ways, but he still hadn't heard from God. He was hungry to hear God, but felt like he was watching his friends eat tasty food while he watched on starving, wanting to eat it too. When I was in primary school, I would look forward to recess to eat food and to play in the park. I loved playing footy and cricket, and every kind of sport at recess and lunch. But before playing, I would eat a snack. Most of the time, my mum would pack me something nice, like a packet of barbecue shapes and an apple, which was fine. But every now and then, I would forget my lunch, so I wouldn't have any food to eat. My friends would be eating donuts and dim sims and roll-ups, all this yummy food, but I just had to watch them eat it. I was so hungry. I wanted to ask them for food, but I was too embarrassed. It sucked. I think this is how Jerry was feeling. Zoe and Gazza were hearing God's voice. It was fun and tasty for them, but Jerry couldn't hear anything, and he wanted what his friends had. Just like when I had no food because I forgot my lunch, and my best friends were eating roll-ups and donuts. To Jerry, it seemed like everyone had what he wanted, and it made him very sad, but also very determined to hear God's voice for himself.